Welcome back, I'm Captain Xavier, and this is an addendum on the Ezekiel Mythical Drum Mag. I had a couple of errors in my original review. New information has come to light. I've played with it for a couple of days, and I've run it through a number of blasters, so I've got some additional information and a couple of corrections. The first correction is that it's the Mythical Drum Mag, and not the Mythic Drum Mag, as I think I referred to it at one point. And the other is the reason it won't work in a pew-pew. I said it won't work in a pew-pew, and that is correct. But I had the reason wrong. I said that this thing could not feed fast enough to keep up with the rate of fire of a pew-pew, and that is simply not the case. This thing is actually capable of feeding far faster than the pew-pew can fire. According to Ezekiel, this thing can dump at 100 darts a second. So it could dump all 50 rounds in it in a half a second, which is way faster than, as far as I know, any blaster that currently exists. Drum mags are really kind of neat. If you've never seen a video of a drum mag where someone was loading it and they forgot to put the follower on or something and it just dumps it, it's really kind of hilarious how quickly it can dump a whole mag. So that wasn't the problem. The problem is the weight of the follower spring. The coil spring on there is too powerful for the pusher in the pew-pew to overcome. And what tends to, apparently what is actually happening is when you push the first dart in, the second dart comes up so quickly that the pusher gets caught on it, and the return spring on the solenoid in the pew-pew can't overcome the tension of the spring, or at least that's what I've been told. It could be other reasons, but the fact of the matter is the pew-pew doesn't work well. It should be firing much faster than that. Here, let me dump a stick mag. So here's a dumping a stick mag. That's what it should be doing, but it can't because it has issues with the follower. So another blaster that I've had similar issues with is my Harrier, though I wonder if that's not it needs some repairs, but the follower, or the pusher in it, tends to be getting bogged down. We'll dump a stick mag, no problem. Drum mag can't seem to overcome it. I don't know if that's how they were actually designed to have a slippery pusher, a clutch kind of pusher, or if I need to tighten something in this. But I had the same issues as I wanted to. It'd be funny to have a drum in it. Anyway, some blasters that work beautifully with it. Let's take a look. The Colonel WAF 76. However, there is one thing I discovered that it took me a while. First I thought it wasn't going to work. If you have it pushed in as far as it will go, you'll end up having issues. You have to then pull it down as far as you can to get the drum magazine to actually line up. And then it works beautifully, and it makes it look a little bit more like a different weapon. PPSH, is that what it looks like now? The Russian one? It's not quite, but you know what I mean. Anyway, works great with that. What else does it work with? Reload! Right, well, we've seen it works fine with things like the Meowser, which has a fairly stout pusher. But what about things that have a essentially semi-auto mechanical pusher, like the Concept Pistol or the Photon, or things like a Desert Pigeon if it took straight Talon mags? They work just fine because, again, they have a direct link between your finger and the pusher, and as long as your finger is strong enough, it shouldn't have any trouble firing, which is pretty groovy, because semi-automatic pistol with a 50-round drum, you're going to be plinking all day long. Let's try something with a good high rate of fire. My half-dart FTL3. Nary a flaw. Beautiful. Right. Well, that's where I'm going to leave off for today because I got other stuff to do and it's warm. Still loving the drum. As I said in the previous one, and I've heard some discussions about it, I stand by what I said. I would probably not use this in something like an HVZ because it takes up a lot of space. Now, maybe as the starting magazine, where I can then stow it in a big dump pouch, but then it's going to pretty much completely fill my dump pouch, whereas I could get probably 7 20 or 18s in roughly the same amount of space as this, and that's more than 50 rounds. Where I think this would definitely shine, and given the cost, where it's probably going to see more use in my prognostication, I could be completely wrong, is going to be the PvP, the 5v5 stuff, where you have a very limited amount of ammunition. Something like most of the ones I've been to, it's like 300 rounds per team, which is 60 rounds per person. Well, you've got 50 of your 60 rounds in one magazine, which means you don't have to reload as often. and not having to reload in a 5v5 situation, that really fast-paced, that reload time is very, very valuable. Quite often, people will make their rush when they realize that someone is reloading. And so, not having to reload, if your whole team had these, you almost wouldn't have to reload an entire match unless you ran out of ammo. So these may see use in something like that because of that. But that's just my theory, my guess. We will see what the future holds for the mythical drum. Thank you for watching.